Welcome, brave souls, to the ultimate guide on how to survive the Boogeyman. Yes, that's right. The Boogeyman. The nocturnal terror of children's nightmares, the king of all things creepy that lurk in the shadows of your bedroom. Whether you've got a vivid imagination or you've actually heard some unexplained bumps in the night, this guide is here to help you laugh in the face of fear and keep that sneaky bastard at bay. First off, let's acknowledge the absurdity of the situation. A survival guide for the Boogeyman? Really? But hey, if horror movies have taught us anything, it's that the unlikely can happen, and it's better to be prepared. So why not arm yourself with a few hilarious and practical tips? After all, it's not just about surviving. It's about surviving with style and a sense of humor. In this guide, we're going to walk you through 10 essential tips to ensure you remain Boogeyman-free. From the classic, "Don't look under the bed," to the unexpected, "Talk to the Boogeyman," we've got you covered. Each tip is designed to be both practical and funny, because what better way to conquer fear than by laughing at it? You'll learn how to transform your room into an impenetrable fortress with nothing but household items and a bit of creativity. We'll show you how to use stuffed animals as your first line of defense, why keeping a flashlight handy is a game changer, and even how embracing a little mess can work to your advantage. Plus, we'll delve into the power of pets in deterring unwanted supernatural guests and the joys of setting up booby traps. So, buckle up and get ready for a wild ride through the world of Boogeyman survival. Whether you're dealing with an actual haunting or just want to sleep better at night, this guide will give you the tools and the laughs you need to stay safe. And remember, the Boogeyman might be scary, but with a little wit and a lot of humor, you've got nothing to fear. Let's dive in and start taking the night back from the Boogeyman. Tip 1. Don't look under the bed. Let's kick things off with the most obvious yet crucial tip to survive the Boogeyman. Don't look under the bed. Seriously, if you hear strange noises coming from beneath your mattress, ignore it. Pretend you're in a high-stakes game of the floor is lava and your bed is the only safe zone. Looking under the bed is like opening Pandora's box, but instead of ancient evils, you're inviting a world of nightmares, and probably a few missing socks. Picture this. You're tucked in bed, cozy and ready to drift off to sleep, when you hear a faint scratching sound. Your rational mind says, it's probably just the house settling. But your inner horror movie enthusiast whispers, it's the Boogeyman sharpening his claws. You decide to investigate because, apparently, you've never seen a horror movie in your life. You lean over the side of the bed, heart pounding, and slowly lift the dust ruffle. Congratulations, you've just signed up for a front row seat to terror. Now let's discuss the sheer stupidity of this move. The Boogeyman loves it when you look under the bed. It's his favorite prank. He's down there waiting, probably snickering to himself, thinking, here comes another sucker. Your curiosity might be well-intentioned, but it's going to end with you face to face with a creature whose sole purpose is to scare the living daylights out of you. It's like trying to pet a rabid dog because it looks cute from a distance. Just don't. For those of you who can't resist the urge to check, here's a pro tip. Raise your bed to ridiculous heights. I'm talking loft it like a college dorm room on steroids. The Boogeyman might be scary, but he's not into rock climbing. By the time he tries to crawl up, you'll be well aware of his presence and can call for backup. Or at least grab your flashlight and whistle. Refer to tip 7 for that genius tip. But let's say you're not into turning your bedroom into a jungle gym. That's fine. Embrace the art of blissful ignorance. If you hear something suspicious, turn up your white noise machine, put on some noise-canceling headphones, and dive back into your dream about winning the lottery. The Boogeyman feeds on fear and attention. If you starve him of both, he might just get bored and move on to some other poor soul who forgot to read this guide. The golden rule of Boogeyman survival is simple. Don't look under the bed. It's not worth the nightmares, the heart palpitations, or the therapy bills. Keep your eyes on the prize. Sleep. And let whatever's under the bed stay there. After all, out of sight, out of mind, and out of the Boogeyman's grasp. Sleep tight, and don't let the bed monsters bite. Tip 2. Keep your closet door closed. Alright, let's move on to the next essential tip. Keep your closet door closed. Seriously, I can't stress this enough. If you've got a closet in your bedroom, it's basically a VIP lounge for the Boogeyman. Leaving it open is like rolling out the red carpet for every childhood nightmare you've ever had. Do yourself a favor and make sure that door stays shut tighter than your grandma's purse at a flea market. Picture this. You're lying in bed, the lights are off, and you're trying to fall asleep. You glance at your closet and realize the door is ajar. Panic sets in because you know damn well that's the boogeyman's entrance. He's probably lurking in there right now, checking his watch and waiting for you to fall asleep so he can do his creepy thing. You get up, walk over, and close the door, but not without muttering a few choice words about why you didn't do it earlier. Now let's get into why the closet is such prime real estate for the boogeyman. For one, it's dark. And we all know the boogeyman has a fetish for darkness. He thrives in it, like a vampire with a flashlight allergy. Closets are also filled with clothes, shoes, and random junk. Perfect for hiding and making creepy noises that'll keep you up all night. It's basically his personal playground, and by keeping the door closed, you're putting him in timeout. If you're one of those people who just can't seem to remember to close the closet door, here's a tip. Install a lock. Yes, I'm serious. Treat that closet door like it's the entrance to a forbidden chamber of horrors. You can even get a fancy one with a combination code, just in case the boogeyman decides to get crafty. And if you have kids, make it a nightly ritual to check the closets and lock them up. It's like tucking in your sanity for the night. For those of you who think, but what if I need something from the closet in the middle of the night? Tough luck. Whatever's in there can wait until morning. Unless it's a life or death situation, there's no reason to risk an encounter with the boogeyman. And let's be real, if you're getting up in the middle of the night for something in your closet, you've got bigger problems than the boogeyman. Maybe rethink your priorities. In conclusion, keeping your closet door closed is a simple yet effective way to keep the boogeyman at bay. It's like installing a safety gate for your nightmares. So before you hit the hay, do a quick check to make sure your closet is securely shut. You'll sleep better knowing the boogeyman is locked out and you're locked into a peaceful night's sleep. Sweet dreams, and may your closets stay closed. Tip 3. Leave a nightlight on. Let's dive into tip number 3. Leave a nightlight on. Seriously, if you're still sleeping in complete darkness, it's time to reconsider your life choices. The boogeyman is like a moth. He hates the light. So don't be a hero. Embrace the glow of a trusty nightlight and keep that creepy bastard at bay. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, and it's pitch black. Every creak, every rustle, and every shadow morphs into the boogeyman doing the Macarena in your room. Your heart races, and you clutch your blanket like it's a magical force field. But wait. You reach over, flick on your nightlight, and boom, instant relief. Shadows retreat, your heart rate drops, and suddenly, that coat hanging on the door looks a lot less like a sinister figure. Now, let's get real about why nightlights are essential. First of all, they provide just enough illumination to turn your room from a horror set into a peaceful haven. You don't need a spotlight that makes your bedroom look like a crime scene, just a soft, comforting glow that says, "Hey, boogeyman, not today." And let's face it, tripping over random stuff in the dark because you were too stubborn to use a nightlight is a rookie mistake. Nobody wants to be that person who ends up with a broken toe because they were too cool for some light. For those of you thinking, nightlights are for kids, get over yourself. Nightlights are for anyone who wants to avoid a midnight showdown with the boogeyman. Plus, have you seen the nightlight options these days? They come in all sorts of cool designs. You can get ones shaped like adorable animals, retro lava lamps, or even badass superheroes. You're not just protecting yourself, you're making a statement. If you're really committed to the anti-boogeyman cause, you can go full tech geek and get smart lights. These beauties can be controlled via your phone or voice assistant, so you can adjust the brightness, color, and even set them on a timer. Imagine lying in bed, whispering, "Hey Siri, turn on the nightlight," and watching the darkness melt away. It's like magic, but with Wi-Fi. Finally, let's talk about the psychological benefits. A nightlight not only wards off the boogeyman, but also helps calm your mind. Knowing there's a bit of light to chase away the dark corners can reduce anxiety and help you sleep better. And let's be honest, a good night's sleep is priceless, especially when the alternative involves waking up screaming because you thought your laundry pile was the boogeyman. Leave a nightlight on. It's a small, simple step that can make a huge difference in keeping the boogeyman at bay. Don't let pride or outdated ideas about nightlight stop you from taking this easy precaution. Light up your life, sleep tight, and tell the boogeyman to take a hike. You've got better things to do than entertain his shadowy nonsense. Tip 4. Avoid creepy lullabies. Alright, let's move on to tip number 4. Avoid creepy lullabies. Look, I get it. Some people think a good lullaby is the key to a restful night's sleep. But let's be real. There's a fine line between soothing and downright sinister. The last thing you need is to lull yourself to sleep with a song that sounds like it was written by a serial killer. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, and you decide to play a lullaby to help you drift off. You choose one that your grandma used to sing. Big mistake. The melody is slow and haunting, and the lyrics are something about cradles falling from trees. Congratulations, you've just summoned the boogeyman with your choice of nighttime tunes. Instead of falling asleep, you're now wide awake, wondering if that creak you heard was your imagination or the start of your own horror movie. Let's face it, many traditional lullabies are creepy as hell. Who thought it was a good idea to sing about babies falling out of treetops and mysterious figures coming to take you away? If you're trying to avoid a boogeyman encounter, skip the lullabies that sound like they were composed by Edgar Allan Poe. Opt for something less likely to summon dark forces and more likely to keep your heart rate normal. For those of you who still want some nighttime music, here's a tip. Go for upbeat, happy tunes. Swap out Rockabye Baby for something that makes you want to dance rather than hide under the covers. Disney songs, catchy pop tunes, or even a little bit of jazz can be just what you need to keep the boogeyman at bay. Just make sure it's something that makes you smile, not shiver. If music isn't your thing, try white noise or nature sounds. The gentle hum of a fan or the sound of rain can do wonders for your sleep without inviting the boogeyman to join you. Plus, these sounds can mask the little creaks and groans your house makes at night, so you're not jumping at every noise. It's like turning your room into a serene, boogeyman-free zone. And for those of you who insist on sticking with lullabies, do your research. Find ones that are genuinely soothing without the creepy undertones. There are plenty of modern lullabies out there that won't make you question your life choices. Think along the lines of gentle, instrumental music or soft, uplifting songs that remind you of happy times, not horror stories. In conclusion, avoid creepy lullabies like the plague. Your choice of nighttime music can either invite the boogeyman in or keep him far, far away. Opt for happy tunes, white noise, or anything that doesn't sound like it was ripped from a horror soundtrack. Sleep soundly, laugh at your playlist, and let the boogeyman know he's not welcome in your dreams. You've got better things to listen to than his creepy serenades. Tip 5. Embrace the mess. Alright, time for tip number 5. Embrace the mess. If you've always been a neat freak, it's time to rethink your life choices. The boogeyman is a tidy bastard. He loves clean, orderly spaces because they give him room to maneuver and scare the crap out of you. So, do yourself a favor and turn your room into a glorious disaster zone. Picture this. You walk into your room, and it's a total mess. Clothes everywhere, books piled up in random stacks, and a few rogue socks that have clearly been on an adventure. It might look like chaos to you, but to the boogeyman, it's a minefield. He's not going to risk tripping over your mess and ending up face first in a pile of dirty laundry. You've just created the perfect anti-boogeyman defense system. Let's be real. Life's too short to spend hours cleaning and organizing. Plus, there's something liberating about embracing a bit of chaos. And guess what? Your messy room could actually be saving your life. Who knew that leaving your gym clothes on the floor could double as a booby trap for the boogeyman? It's like Home Alone, but with less planning and more procrastination. For those of you who think, but I can't stand the mess, get over it. Think of it as a creative form of protection. Leave some strategically placed shoes by the bed, scatter a few books around, and maybe toss in a couple of those squeaky dog toys for good measure. The more obstacles you create, the harder it is for the boogeyman to sneak up on you. Plus, it's a great excuse for why you didn't clean your room. I'm not messy, I'm strategic. If you really want to take it up a notch, consider some harmless but effective traps. We're talking about marbles on the floor, toy cars, or even those sticky mouse traps. Just be careful where you step. The goal is to turn your room into a no-go zone for the boogeyman. He's going to think twice before venturing into your cluttered fortress. And here's a bonus. Embracing the mess gives you more time to do the things you love. Instead of wasting hours tidying up, you can binge-watch your favorite shows, read a good book, or even take up a new hobby. Just think of all the fun you could be having instead of vacuuming. Plus, a messy room gives you that lived-in, cozy feel that makes it uniquely yours. And a boogeyman's worst nightmare. In conclusion, embrace the mess. Your disorganized room might just be the key to keeping the boogeyman at bay. Turn your space into an obstacle course of clutter, and let him know he's not welcome. Besides, who needs a spotless room when you can have a safe, boogeyman-free zone? So let the laundry pile up, scatter those books, and sleep easy knowing your mess is working overtime to protect you. Tip 6. Use stuffed animal bodyguards. Tip number 6 is all about using stuffed animals as your personal bodyguards. Yes, you heard me right. Those cuddly, fluffy friends from your childhood are about to become your first line of defense against the boogeyman. So, dust off those stuffed animals and get ready to deploy the cutest security detail ever. It's bedtime, and you've arranged a perimeter of stuffed animals around your bed. There's Mr. Fluffles, Captain Cuddles, and Sir Hopsalot all standing, or rather sitting guard. The boogeyman, lurking in the shadows, takes one look at your furry army and thinks twice about making a move. Who knew that your childhood toys could double as badass bodyguards? Let's be honest. Stuffed animals are the ultimate multitaskers. They provide comfort, add a touch of nostalgia, and now, they protect you from nocturnal terrors. The boogeyman might be scary, but even he has to pause and consider the logistics of sneaking past a brigade of beady-eyed sentinels. Plus, it's hard to be terrified when you've got an army of adorable plushies backing you up. For those skeptics out there, consider this. Stuffed animals are soft, silent, and non-threatening. Exactly the opposite of the boogeyman. They're the perfect decoys. Imagine the boogeyman creeping closer, only to step on a strategically placed squeaky toy hidden among your stuffed animals. He'll be more startled than you, giving you precious seconds to grab your flashlight and whistle. You remember those from Tip 7, right? And if you're worried about your cool factor, don't be. Stuffed animals are making a comeback. Adults everywhere are rediscovering the joy of plush companions. Plus, who cares about being cool when your life is at stake? Embrace the fluff, people. Your survival is worth a little sacrifice of pride. To really maximize the effectiveness of your stuffed animal security team, get creative with their placement. Create a barricade at the foot of your bed, line them up on your dresser, or even hang a few from your doorknob like plush sentries. The more, the merrier. And don't forget to give them a pep talk before bed. They may be inanimate, but it never hurts to boost morale. Use stuffed animals as your bodyguards. They're not just for kids. They're for anyone who wants a good night's sleep without the boogeyman's interference. So gather your fluffy friends, position them strategically, and let them work their magic. With their help, you'll be able to sleep soundly knowing you've got the cutest, cuddliest security detail on your side. Sweet dreams. And may your stuffed animal army keep the boogeyman at bay. Tip 7. Keep a flashlight handy. Alright, let's shine some light on tip number 7. Keep a flashlight handy. This might sound like basic survival 101, but you'd be amazed at how many people neglect this simple yet crucial step. The boogeyman thrives in darkness, so why not arm yourself with the best portable sunbeam money can buy? It's the middle of the night, and you wake up to an eerie sound. Your heart starts pounding as you fumble around in the dark, searching for something to defend yourself with. But wait, you've got a flashlight on your nightstand. You grab it, click it on, and boom! The boogeyman's shadowy plans are instantly foiled. It's like holding a lightsaber that makes creepy things disappear. Now, let's talk about flashlight etiquette. First off, don't settle for some dinky little pen light. You need something that could double as a spotlight for a Broadway show. Go for the big guns. Those heavy-duty, high-lumen flashlights that could blind a deer at 50 yards. The boogeyman isn't going to stick around when you're wielding a handheld sun. And let's not forget the power of the strobe function. A flashlight with a strobe setting isn't just practical, it's downright disorienting for anything lurking in the dark. Imagine the boogeyman trying to sneak up on you, only to be hit with a disorienting strobe light show. He'll be more confused than a cat in a laser pointer factory, giving you ample time to plan your next move, or just laugh at his bewilderment. For those of you who are prone to losing things, consider a headlamp. It might look goofy as hell, but it's hands-free and always points where you're looking. Plus, you can pretend you're an adventurer exploring the dark recesses of your bedroom. Just remember to warn your roommates or family before you strut around with a headlamp at 3 a.m. You don't want to be mistaken for a glow-in-the-dark burglar. Pro tip: keep spare batteries or a rechargeable flashlight on hand. There's nothing worse than clicking on your flashlight only to realize it's dead. The boogeyman isn't going to give you a timeout to change batteries. Be prepared and make sure your flashlight is always ready for action. Treat it like your own personal Excalibur. Always sharp, always ready to vanquish the dark. In conclusion, keep a flashlight handy. It's your best defense against the boogeyman's sneaky tactics. With a powerful beam of light, you can turn the tables and make him the one who's afraid of the dark. So, invest in a good flashlight, keep it close, and sleep easy knowing you've got a portable anti-boogeyman device at your fingertips. Light up the night and keep those creepy shadows at bay. Tip 8. Talk to the boogeyman. All right, buckle up for tip number 8. Talk to the boogeyman. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and in this case, that means striking up a conversation with your closet-dwelling adversary. It's time to channel your inner Dr. Phil and give the boogeyman a piece of your mind. Picture this. It's the middle of the night, and you hear that familiar creak coming from the closet. Instead of pulling the covers over your head or reaching for your trusty flashlight, you decide to engage. You sit up, clear your throat, and say, "Hey, boogeyman, we need to talk." Trust me, this unexpected move will catch him off guard. After all, how many people actually try to have a heart-to-heart with the boogeyman? Let's get real about this. The boogeyman is used to scaring the crap out of people, not having late-night chats. So, throw him off his game by addressing him directly. Start with some small talk. Ask him how his night is going, if he's seen any good horror movies lately, or if he has any tips for getting out stubborn carpet stains. The absurdity of the situation is enough to make even the boogeyman pause and reconsider his life choices. If small talk doesn't work, try negotiating. Listen, boogeyman, I get it. You've got a job to do. But can we maybe agree on some ground rules? No scaring after midnight, and absolutely no creeping while I'm in the bathroom. Deal? By setting boundaries, you're asserting control over the situation. Plus, it's hilarious to imagine the boogeyman nodding along and taking mental notes. For those who really want to get creative, consider role-playing. Pretend you're a therapist and he's your newest patient. So, boogeyman, tell me about your childhood. Were you always this creepy, or is this a recent development? The sheer ridiculousness of the scenario can help diffuse your fear and make the boogeyman seem less terrifying. Plus, who knows? Maybe he just needs someone to talk to about his feelings. And if all else fails, just confuse the hell out of him. Start quoting random movie lines, recite poetry, or sing your favorite song at the top of your lungs. The boogeyman won't know what hit him. He's expecting fear, not a one-person Broadway show. By keeping him on his toes, you're less likely to end up as his latest scare victim. Don't be afraid to talk to the boogeyman. Whether it's small talk, negotiation, or outright absurdity, engaging with him on your terms can be a powerful tool. You're taking control of the situation and showing that you're not just another terrified target. So, next time you hear that creepy noise in the closet, sit up, have a chat, and let the boogeyman know you're not here to play by his rules. You've got better things to do than be scared of a closet-dwelling creep. Tip 9. Get a pet. Here comes tip number 9. Get a pet. If you thought pets were just for companionship and Instagram likes, think again. A furry friend can be your ultimate defense against the boogeyman. Cats, dogs, hamsters, hell, even a pet rock if it makes you feel better. Pets have that sixth sense for sniffing out the supernatural, and they're not afraid to sound the alarm. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, when you hear a weird noise coming from the closet. Before you can even start to freak out, your trusty dog, Sparky, perks up, growls, and head straight for the closet like a canine commando. The boogeyman isn't going to stick around when faced with a barking, snarling ball of fur ready to defend its territory. Plus, nothing says fuck off like a pissed-off Pomeranian. Let's get real. Pets are the perfect deterrent. Dogs will bark at the slightest sound, effectively scaring off not just intruders but any shadowy figures lurking in the dark. And cats? They're basically nocturnal ninjas. If the boogeyman tries anything, your cat will likely be perched on a high shelf, glaring daggers and ready to pounce. Cats might act aloof, but when push comes to shove, they won't hesitate to defend their turf. For those of you who prefer less conventional pets, don't worry. A hamster in a squeaky wheel can be just as effective. Picture the boogeyman sneaking into your room, only to be met with the relentless squeak, squeak, squeak of Hammy doing his nightly marathon. It's hard to be stealthy when you're distracted by an over-enthusiastic rodent running its tiny heart out. If you're not an animal person, consider a pet rock. Sure, it might not bark or hiss, but it has its own charm. Paint a fierce face on it and place it near your bed. The boogeyman might just pause long enough to wonder what kind of weirdo keeps a rock as a pet, giving you precious moments to enact your escape plan. Plus, you can always use it as a last resort projectile. And let's not forget the psychological benefits of having a pet. Their mere presence can be comforting, reducing anxiety and helping you sleep better. Knowing you've got a loyal companion by your side can make the darkness seem a little less daunting. Plus, pets are great at sensing things we can't. If Sparky's growling at the closet, maybe it's time to take a closer look. Or better yet, let Sparky handle it while you stay safely tucked under the covers. In conclusion, get a pet. Whether it's a dog, cat, hamster, or even a pet rock, having a companion can make all the difference in keeping the boogeyman at bay. They'll sound the alarm, defend your territory, and provide comfort in the darkest of times. So, adopt a furry or not-so-furry friend, and sleep soundly knowing you've got the best boogeyman deterrent money can buy. Tip 10. Set up a booby trap, or a boogie trap. Alright folks, here we go with the final tip, and it's a good one. Set up a booby trap. If you're tired of living in fear and want to take the fight to the boogeyman, it's time to get crafty. Channel your inner Kevin McAllister and turn your room into a fortress of defensive delights. Picture this. You've had enough of the boogeyman shenanigans and decide to take matters into your own hands. You start with the basics. A strategically placed bucket of marbles by the closet door. The boogeyman might be a master of stealth, but he's not immune to the laws of physics. One step on those marbles, and he'll be doing an impromptu breakdance, giving you plenty of time to grab your flashlight and get the hell out. Let's talk about some classic traps. First, there's the tried and true tripwire. You can rig one up with some fishing line or even dental floss. Stretch it across your doorway or any likely entry point. When the boogeyman comes creeping, he'll trip, stumble, and curse his luck, assuming he's got a mouth somewhere behind that faceless exterior. For added fun, attach a bell or two to the wire. The jingling will let you know he's taken the bait. Then there's the classic bucket of water on the door trick. Balance a bucket filled with water, or something stickier, like syrup if you're feeling particularly vindictive, on top of your slightly ajar door. When the boogeyman tries to slip in unnoticed, he'll get a faceful of your homemade surprise. It's not just satisfying, it's effective. There's nothing like a soaked or sticky boogeyman to make you feel like you've won the night. For those of you who really want to get creative, consider setting up a DIY alarm system. A string of empty cans tied together and placed near potential entry points can create a racket loud enough to wake the dead, or at least the boogeyman. The clattering noise will not only scare him off, but also alert you to his presence, so you're not caught off guard. And let's not forget about the element of surprise. Leave a strategically placed toy or two around the room. Nothing says, "Don't mess with me," like stepping on a Lego in the middle of the night. The boogeyman might be fearless, but even he's no match for the excruciating pain of a well-placed plastic brick. Plus, it's a surefire way to get some laughs while you're at it. Setting up a booby trap is a proactive, fun, and hilarious way to deal with the boogeyman. By turning your room into a veritable minefield of mischief, you'll not only protect yourself, but also reclaim your peace of mind. So grab your supplies, get creative, and let the boogeyman know he's not welcome in your space. Sleep tight, and may your traps be ever successful. Congratulations, you've made it through the ultimate guide to surviving the Boogeyman. By now, you're practically a pro at keeping that sneaky night terror at bay. Whether you've taken to setting up elaborate booby traps or you've simply embraced the power of a good laugh, you're well equipped to face the Boogeyman with confidence and a smile. Let's recap the essentials. You know better than to look under the bed or leave your closet door ajar. You've got your trusty nightlight to keep the shadows at bay and a playlist of upbeat tunes to replace those creepy lullabies. You've embraced the strategic mess, enlisted your stuffed animals as bodyguards, and keep a flashlight within arm's reach. You're ready to talk to the Boogeyman if needed, and your pet is now your nighttime security detail. And let's not forget those ingenious booby traps that turn your room into a fortress of hilarity and safety. Remember, the key to surviving the Boogeyman isn't just about following these tips to the letter. It's about keeping a light heart and a sharp wit. Fear thrives in the shadows, but humor shines a light that can banish even the creepiest of monsters. By laughing in the face of the Boogeyman, you're taking away his power and reclaiming your peace of mind. Now, go forth and share your newfound wisdom. Spread the word, tell your friends, and maybe even scare them a little with your expert knowledge. The more people who know how to outsmart the Boogeyman, the fewer places he has to hide. Plus, it's always more fun to laugh about these things together. So, here's to peaceful nights and Boogeyman-free dreams. You've got the tools, the tips, and the humor to keep the darkness at bay. Sleep tight, keep your flashlight handy, and always remember, the Boogeyman doesn't stand a chance against someone armed with laughter and a good survival guide. Sweet dreams, and may your nights be filled with more giggles than gasps.